He's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
Dowd should be fired immediately. I expect him to be terminated within 24 hours. You can't say Charlie deserved to die. Just can't say that. And I hope he loses his job.
Well, Jesse Waters, your wish is Uncle Casey's command. Headline at the Wall Street Journal. Matthew Dowd no longer with MSNBC after on-air comments about Charlie Kirk. Unfortunately, I thought this headline was far too professional. Headline was far too compassionate. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm done showing compassion to those who don't deserve it. What this headline in the Wall Street Journal should have read is, Captain Doofus fired from MSNBC for representing evil and will never, ever, 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 ever work in the mainstream media again. I think that's what it's going to take to put an end to this dangerous rhetoric. The reason the outcasts from high school feel emboldened, the reason the people who were never invited to the parties are feeling brave, they don't face any consequences. They're not held accountable for their own actions. Instead of being held accountable, the mainstream media wants to make excuses for him. Oh, Maddie was just having a bad day. Before going on the air, his emotional support purse served him with divorce papers. This was simply a case of misplaced anger. There are no more excuses. There is no more compassion for the uncompassionate. Why should I give tolerance and compassion to people who aren't willing to do the same? And look, it's not just some in the mainstream media whose reactions to Charlie Kirk were absolutely inexcusable. The reactions on social media, especially Blue Sky, the social media app dedicated to those who spent their high school years and now their adult life being the outcast, the reactions on Blue Sky were significantly worse. Check it out for yourself. If these people have jobs, and that is a big if these people are gainfully employed, they should be fired immediately. And look, not everyone on the left reacted this way. Not everyone on the left reacted the way MSNBC did and blamed Charlie Kirk for his own demise, which, by the way, MSNBC should be given credit for firing Matt Dowd. But Casey, they only fired him because of the backlash. So? The only thing that proves is your voice matters. I had so many people reach out to me yesterday expressing their appreciation for the video on Charlie Kirk. I replied to as many as I could, thanking you guys for your constant support. It's always appreciated, does not go unnoticed, but there was a common theme in a lot of the messages. Please keep using your platform to call out deacons at Woke United Methodist. I don't have a platform. You're our voice. While that is incredibly flattering, the insinuation is if you don't have a platform, if you don't have an audience, your voice doesn't matter. And that could not be further from the truth. Normal people have forgotten how powerful their voice can be, especially when we all come together. And that was part of the brilliance of Charlie Kirk. He knew that. He knew that one of the best ways to combat the woke fungus was for normal people to unite and speak out. Whether you have 140 followers or 140,000, your voice matters. If you don't believe me, go ask ESPN. Go ask MSNBC, who just fired someone over backlash that was mostly coming from normal people. If what happened yesterday had happened 20 years ago, it would have been a unifying moment for the country. And in some cases, it was. Believe it or not, there are some good people on the left. The Young Turks, Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian. Politically speaking, we disagree on damn near everything. I've had to quit watching them as much as I used to because they have this weird obsession with Israel. Even though I disagree with them on damn near everything, we do have something in common: our disdain for the propagandist in the mainstream media. Unlike MSNBC, the Young Turks, they were condemning what happened to Charlie Kirk. They weren't blaming Charlie Kirk. They were defending his right to speak. Cenk said the same thing that I did. This should be something that unifies the country. Unfortunately, it seems that far too many people blindly follow our doofus politicians in Congress. Yesterday afternoon, Lauren Boebert called for the House of Representatives to take a moment to pray for Charlie Kirk. Now, at the time, he was still in critical condition. News had yet to be released that he was no longer with us. Now, this was the time to put the politics to the side. This was the time to come together and pray for someone who was fighting for his life. And look, God forbid this happened to someone on the left. I would say the exact same thing. I know we have fun joking around about Jamel Hill or the ladies on The View, Joy Reid, the WNBA, but I don't want anything to happen to them. For starters, they keep me in business by providing an endless supply of content, but more importantly, I don't want Whoopi Goldberg to be silenced because of her beliefs, and millions of lonely women, they damn sure don't want her to be silenced because the silent boodle breeze isn't nearly as potent as the thunderous flatulence. Yesterday afternoon in the House, this was their opportunity to lead the country. This was their opportunity to unify the country. Instead, they use it as another opportunity to divide us. Watch for yourself.
Let's wait a minute. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. Shh. We will join prayer right after this.
For years, hell, for the better part of 2 decades, Glenn Beck has been warning us that there would come a time when we would not recognize our own country. That time is now. 5 years ago, when I was just starting out here on YouTube, I used to complain all the time about the woke fungus invading sports. First 35 years of my life, sports, entertainment, they remained apolitical for the most part. When I'm watching The Challenge on MTV, I don't care who Johnny Bananas voted for. I don't care about CT's thoughts on abortion rights. It's not their job to indoctrinate me. Their job is to entertain me. I don't care about LeBron James politics. When I'm watching the NBA, LeBron James isn't being paid $50 million to preach about mythical racism. His job is to entertain. His job is to win. But KC, that's telling him to shut up and dribble. Yeah. And it's not because LeBron James should have to sacrifice his right to speak because he's a basketball player. The reason I hated the infusion of politics in sports, if you allow politics to invade sports and entertainment, there's no way of getting away from it. And when you can't get away from it, it becomes an obsession. You start judging people based on their political affiliation instead of their character or their talent. You automatically think someone is the enemy because they voted for Trump or Biden. It has been 5 years since politics has invaded every facet of American life. Sports, entertainment, business. Just last month, Cracker Barrel embraced Wiener and damn near collapsed. Everywhere you go in major cities, people are flying flags showing their affiliation or wearing doofus t-shirts. My name is Richard She Her. Politics from both sides has invaded every aspect of American culture, and this is the result. Fortunately, more and more normal people from both sides have started to speak out on social media. These people who were celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, they seem to be running back to their dungeons. Not all of them, but some of them. Reason being, once they spewed their hatred on social media, normal people are starting to hold them accountable. They're finding their LinkedIn profiles, they're contacting their employers and sending screenshots of their inexcusable behavior. In some cases, they're contacting the FBI, and rightfully so. You can't say things like, Ben Shapiro is next, and expect there to not be consequences. That's been the problem for far too long. People think they can go on social media and say whatever the hell they want and not be held accountable. And in the rare case that they are held accountable, there's always an excuse. I was having an emotional breakdown and health insurance is too expensive, so I can't afford counseling. I've got some good news. There are plenty of free counseling services offered in prison. Not only is the counseling free, they also provide free housing, free food. Every once in a while, I hear they'll also allow you to use the free phone. Yesterday, Democratic leaders like Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, they condemned political violence. Violence has no place in our democracy. Which is true. It's great. It's great. Here's the problem. You can't spend the last 10 years referring to people who disagree with you politically as Nazis. You can't spend the last 10 years demonizing half the country and then condemn violence when someone believes your rhetoric. We used to live in a country where politics was on our minds every 2 years, but mostly every 4 years. Today, it's everywhere. It's on our minds every day. And this is the end result. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.